For 40 years, one band has somehow navigated personal tragedy, industry rejection, and just constant reinvention to become a real cultural touchstone. We're talking about a journey from the ska-punk underground of Southern California all the way to the global pop stage. This is the story of No Doubt. It's a journey with some pretty incredible highs and lows, so let's get right into it.
To really get the sheer scale of their journey, all you have to do is look at this. It all started in a suburban garage in Anaheim, California, way back in 1986. Now, let's fast forward 40 years to 2026, and they're going to be headlining the Sphere in Las Vegas, which is, maybe the most advanced performance venue on the entire planet. So how in the world does a garage band end up there? Well, let's find out. To understand where they ended up, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, to their super local roots in the really unique music scene of Orange County, California.
So, the band's origin story? It's pure youthful energy. It was literally thought up by two co-workers at a Dairy Queen who were obsessed with British ska. But just as they were starting to get some real momentum, they were hit with this just profound tragedy. The suicide of their charismatic frontman, John Spence, nearly ended the band right then and there. But instead, it forced this pivotal change, pushing a pretty reluctant Gwen Stefani into the lead vocalist role.
And when you look at their early lineup, you can really see the band's original DNA. This wasn't the tight four-piece band we know today. No way. They were this sprawling, kind of chaotic, horn-heavy group with a revolving door of at least 8 different horn players. This was a true party band, built for those high-energy live shows.
But this super upbeat sunny ska band was about to run face-first into the cultural brick wall of the early 90s, the Seattle grunge movement.
So, in 1992, they released their debut album on a major label, Interscope Records. And it was a complete commercial disaster. You have to remember, this was a time when Nirvana and Soundgarden were just dominating everything with that dark, heavy rock sound. And here comes No Doubt with their bright, poppy ska. It just felt totally out of place. They sold a mere 30,000 copies.
And right here, this is where things really could have ended. Their label, Interscope, they basically just gave up on them. They pulled all their funding, all their support. They just saw the band as a failed experiment. For most bands, that would have been the final nail in the coffin. But this is where their sheer grit just kicked in. Instead of quitting, they went back to their garage, they funded their own recordings, and they self-released an album called The Beacon Street Collection. It had a much rawer, more punk sound, and guess what? It outsold their major label debut by more than 3 times. And that independent success, well, it forced Interscope to start paying attention again.
So that rejection and that need to rely on themselves, it totally set the stage for one of the biggest albums of the entire decade. But the creative fuel for it, that came from some really intense personal heartbreak happening right inside the band.
And this, right here, is the key. The band's 2 core members, lead singer Gwen Stefani and bassist Tony Kanal, they ended their 7-year relationship right as they were writing their next record. All that raw, painful experience was just channeled directly into the lyrics, turning this personal tragedy into a huge artistic triumph.
And the ultimate result of all that heartbreak was the ballad, Don't Speak. The song was an absolute global juggernaut. It shattered records by spending an unbelievable 16 straight weeks at #1 on the airplay charts. You couldn't escape it, and it made them superstars.
The success was just staggering. Tragic Kingdom sold over 16 million copies worldwide. It spawned 7 hit singles, and it kept the band on the road for 2 solid years. This wasn't just a hit album, it was a cultural phenomenon that really helped define the whole sound of the late 90s.
But after a hit that big, the real challenge is what you do next. And No Doubt, they chose to evolve. It was a path that led them to new sounds, massive success, and eventually to some major controversy.
They absolutely refused to make Tragic Kingdom Part 2. Instead, they released Return of Saturn, which was this darker, more introspective new wave album. Then they pivoted again with Rocksteady, flying to Jamaica to create this bright, dancehall-infused record that actually won them 2 Grammys. And after all that, they took a long break, which is when we saw Gwen Stefani become a global pop icon all on her own.
Gwen Stefani's solo career was a huge success, no doubt about it. But it also sparked this really intense debate that, honestly, continues to this day. And it all centered around her use of Japanese culture and her backup dancers, the Harajuku girls.
So on one side, critics argued that the Harajuku girls were being treated like silent props, an exotic marketing tool that just reinforced stereotypes. But on the other side, Stefani's always maintained it came from a place of love, that it was a pure compliment to a culture she really admired. And supporters also noted that it introduced a lot of Americans to Harajuku fashion. It's a really complex issue, and there's definitely no easy answer.
After another long hiatus, a lot of people probably wondered if the band was done for good. But their recent reunion proved that their legacy wasn't just intact, it was maybe stronger than ever.
In 2024, they got back together for this huge performance at Coachella, and they played a setlist that was just a masterclass in their biggest hits. They drew one of the largest crowds of the whole festival, and a surprise guest appearance by pop star Olivia Rodrigo really proved their timeless appeal to a whole new generation of fans.
And now they're looking to the future. They've announced a residency at the Las Vegas Sphere for 2026. This is a big deal. Not only does it mark the 30th anniversary of Tragic Kingdom, but it also makes them the first female-fronted act to ever headline this cutting-edge venue, using all its immersive technology to completely reimagine their classic songs. So when you look at the whole picture, from a garage in Anaheim to the high-tech walls of the Sphere, No Doubt's story is really one of survival, of adaptation, and this just enduring chemistry. Their journey, it really makes you wonder. In an era of such fleeting trends, what does it truly take for a band's legacy to last for 40 years?